All right, good morning. Yeah, it's lovely stuff. It's the 2nd of January. Haven't made a video in a while. It's been the festive season, and we sort of been doing Christmas things and New Year's Eve things and having a bit of holiday. Most of the gang is all over the country, by the coast, in the bush, and all over. And I did the same. Had a few trips. So yeah, but there's definitely a lot to talk about. We've seen the Bulls lose 2 games in a row to the Stormers and the Sharks, so there are a few discussion points. I think a few people are losing patience with Jake White, but let's start with this weekend focus. I mean, a few things have happened over the past few weeks, but let's focus on what happened this week. So Edinburgh lost to Glasgow. Good win for Glasgow away from home. Edinburgh is 10th at the moment, and Glasgow is sitting in 6th, which is quite a good position for them. And the commentators mentioned this is probably one of Glasgow's biggest wins in recent times. We're still learning everything, but it looks like Edinburgh has mostly been the bigger team. They did better last season, so this is big for Glasgow and being above them in the log, and big for Franco Smith, who's the new coach, who used to be the director of rugby at Italy. You mentioned him because we're South African and he's South African, of course. Yeah, so not going to go into too much detail about the game. Great win, some great running rugby, and they're just getting, it looks like everything's clicking for Glasgow, so some change happening there. But don't discount Edinburgh. They are a strong team. It was a close game, but an away victory was very good for Glasgow, and they are definitely on the right track. And that was at Murrayfield. So and Benetton beat Zebre well. Zebre was in the lead in this at the start, and I thought, yes, maybe they can get a win, because they're still waiting for the first win. They're on a long losing streak. And sort of the whipping boys in the competition. They bought a lot of players, but it seems like they're still struggling a little bit. And then we got to the local derbies. Bulls Sharks. It was close for a while, but the Sharks were just too powerful for the Bulls. So I think that what is happening, what we're seeing, is that the new director of rugby, Neil Powell, is starting to get his way of playing, coming from sevens. The forwards are looking good, and is putting up a solid base for the backs to run. And the back line looks great. They scored some amazing tries, and they look very, very dangerous. And they've got a lot of Springboks, and they've got a lot of talent, and they've been underperforming. So it's a bit scary for the other unions to see the way they are playing. There's money, there's American money, they've bought well. They have a lot of Springboks in the forwards, and especially the tight 5 is looking very, very solid, where it's basically all Springboks in the tight 5, except for Gerbrand Grobler, who plays in the lock and so forth. But with Eben Etzebeth there, and Thomas de Toy, and Bongi Mbonambi, and Oxenche, it's extremely solid. And I think that's where the Bulls were lacking, in that they got scrummed and they didn't get quality ball, and they struggled in the tight 5. And I know that the Bulls bought Wilco Low, but he's only coming in July this year. So it's still a long way to go with the tight 5 that we have now. Rowan Norke's class. Losing Walt Steenkamp was a huge blow. And he was replaced with with good players, but not someone who's knocking down the door to play from the Springboks, even though Norke is, I believe. So in the props, Rowan Steenkamp looks good, Morne Smith looks good, Johan Grobbelaar is a big talent, but he's not a big unit in the scrums. I think he's good in the loose, but I'm not sure about how much he adds to the scrums. So it's definitely something that the Bulls need to look at. And we need to build combinations. The back line looks different every game. We don't have a centre pairing. We don't have an outside centre that is picked every team. The Bulls bought Similani, an outside centre, and he gets played at fullback. And we've got two great inside centres in Harold Forster and Cornel Hendricks, but then they chop and change. One week the one of them plays outside centre, the next week the next one, and then it's Stedman Gans who's sort of not making that step up. We need to decide who our pairings are, who we're playing, what the combinations are. Then Hendricks is on the wing, and I am a strong believer in putting your best 15 on the field and finding places for people, but I think it confuses the players that they don't know what their best positions are, and it gives you a lack of continuity, because you've got to know that player is there. And that's sort of, the Sharks are clicking and they are looking extremely dangerous. So they're 5th on the log at the moment, the Bulls 4th. The Bulls have lost quite a few of their away games now in a row in the URC and in the Heineken Cup, and the Sharks have climbed the log. They were outside the top 8 just the other day, and now they're sitting at 5th. And it's sort of the same story with the Stormers. They're on second. The Lions are falling away. They're on 11th. They beat the Lions 48. I mean, that's a thrashing. Achiva Diamani is looking like a Springbok. He's involved in a lot of the tries. He's quick. He's a good ball carrier. He makes the right decisions. He passes at the right time. Okay, there was a forward pass, and it was a disallowed try. But same with them. The tight 5 just looks very good. Okay, maybe in the lock side of it, not great. But that front row, that the Springboks that they have in the front row, the props, they dominate. And they've got good players all over the park. Not as strong as the Sharks on paper, but they, continuity-wise, they just look so good. That the players really know and trust each other. And there's a real belief. They've got very good Springboks in the back line again. Willemse keeps shining, Mani Lebok for the Stormers. So there's work there as well. I think the Bulls, back to the Bulls, they just need to figure out what they want to do, which combinations they want to play. And the Lions, I don't think they have the depth and the players, so they need to also buy smartly. And there are guys that have really impressed me. Obviously, Marius Lowe from the Sharks, I thought looks good every week. The young outside centre Inku is injured all the time, so they're sort of also struggling for continuity. Okay, that's the South African teams. I think the power is sitting with the Sharks and the Stormers, and the other two need to catch up and need to wake up, need to decide what they want to do, and need to buy smartly in future. Can't wait for Wilco Lowe to come for the Bulls, because we really need a quality prop, another quality prop. Okay, then Cardiff played the Ospreys. Ospreys upset Cardiff at home. Great win for them, 22-19. Cardiff sitting at 8th, Ospreys at 12th. Yes, then a proper arm wrestle test match between Munster and Ulster. An amazing finish, a dream finish for Munster. For most of the game, it looked like Ulster is going to win a close game. They started with 3 penalties. They scored a try to break up the game, and then Munster came back. They scored a penalty and a try at death. Kicked the conversion with almost looked like it was going to be charged down. An absolute dream victory. Ulster sitting on 3rd. Sorry about the bird noises, can't help that. But it is a beautiful day out in Pretoria. And Munster on 9th. Scarlets beat the Dragons. Good win for them. That's they're sort of on the same level, 15th and 14th, Scarlets and Dragons. So good win for the Scarlets. They also had a few good results in Europe as well. And then Connacht keeps falling away. They're 13th, and Leinster still in top spot. I don't think anyone's going to compete for that top spot for the rest of the season. It was tight. They managed to keep it tight in the first half, Connacht. And then Leinster scored some great tries with forward power and with great play in the back. Those precision passes that stick. Jordan Lama scored a great try. He scored 2 tries. Jonathan Sexton just gets them going. He kicks the conversions, and yeah, it's just they just ran away with it. Outside centre, Turner scored a very good try as well. Josh van der Fleer scored a try right at the end. Had quite a bit of work still to do. So yeah, I don't know. They just look unstoppable, and I don't know if they'll slip up again in the semi-finals. They are the outright favourites to win the competition, and then they will probably get a home semi-final and a home final unless they go through a really bad run. Yeah, so back in the URC, the new year, looking forward to all the Rugby World Cup year. Six Nations just around the corner, so going to be fantastic, and can't wait to see when we get to the important stages of the URC, who's going to get those semi-final spots and who's going to end in the top 8. Okay, right, good to be back. Thanks. Cheers.